Good morning, I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. In today's update, more than 210,000 Americans have now died from the coronavirus. And with election days just 28 days away, Michelle Obama is making her case for Joe Biden in a video released this morning that she calls her closing argument. The former First Lady criticizes the sitting president without calling him by name and slams his handling of the pandemic.
A man who had every resource at his disposal, the finest medical experts, our best intelligence, and yet ignored all the advice and failed to produce a plan to provide enough tests for worried families or protective equipment for our healthcare workers. A man who knew how deadly this virus is, but who lied to us and told us it would just disappear. Who, in the greatest crisis of our lifetimes, doubled down on division and resentment, railed against measures that could have mitigated the damage, and continues to hold massive events without requiring masks or social distancing, knowingly exposing his own supporters to a dangerous virus.
She goes on to pitch Joe Biden as someone who can get the virus under control and recover the economy. Meanwhile, a Texas police officer has been arrested and charged with murder after the shooting of an unarmed 31-year-old black man, Jonathan Price. Civil rights attorney Lee Merritt says Price tried to defuse an argument between a couple at a convenience store. He was then tased and shot. Price is said to have been a beloved member of his community who worked with and coached kids. Hurricane Delta is intensifying fast, on track to become a major Category 4 storm today. It's projected to make landfall in Cancun, Mexico later tonight and then move toward the hard-hit Gulf of Mexico Friday. If Delta makes landfall, it would become the 10th storm to do so just this year in the U.S., a first for the country. All this as the wildfires in the West continue to burn. California firefighters are working tirelessly to contain those scorching flames. President Trump is back at the White House after leaving Walter Reed Hospital. After he arrived, the president stood on a White House balcony and removed his mask, then downplaying the coronavirus to the American people. This is more than 210,000 Americans have died from the virus. Meanwhile, President Trump's doctors say he is not out of the woods yet. At least 18 people in the president's inner circle have now tested positive for COVID-19, including Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. Staff was seen cleaning the White House briefing room on Monday. Cecilia Vega has the very latest.
Fresh off his release from Walter Reed, President Trump walked off Marine One and up the stairs to the White House residence. And then the president, who is still contagious, did something remarkable. He took off his mask, put it in his pocket, and saluted. A White House staff photographer right there next to him, and the president, who is supposed to be in isolation, then walked inside to a room full of people. It was a made-for-TV moment, and one the White House nearly immediately turned into a promotional video. His message?
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it.
But the reality, the president received treatment most Americans will never know from the best medical experts in the world. And the disease he says Americans shouldn't fear has now killed 210,000 people in this country, with cases on the rise.
I could have left 2 days ago. It felt great, like better than I have in a long time.
But that's after he was so sick he twice needed oxygen to help him breathe, an experimental drug cocktail, and an aggressive steroid usually reserved for the most severe cases. And now he baselessly suggests this.
And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know.
Yet hours earlier from his own doctors, a very different take.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations, and most importantly, his clinical status, support the president's safe return home.
And this morning, those doctors still refusing to answer critical questions about the president's health, including about whether there is damage to his lungs, information the president could release if he wanted to.
Now, President Trump, since he's back in the White House, will be working out of the residence, the diplomatic room, the map room, not the West Wing or the Oval Office, to be specific. Aides say access to him is going to be limited. Anyone who does come near the president will be wearing PPE because he's still contagious. But remember, Eva, because he's still contagious, no one is supposed to be around him. He's supposed to be isolated with the exception of his doctors. The White House also says they're taking every precaution to keep the president, the first family, even those who work in the White House, all of that staff safe. But Eva, all of that went out the window when he took his mask off overnight.
Cecilia Vega in D.C., thank you. And now to an ABC News exclusive. For nearly 2 decades, federal judge Esther Salas has served the state of New Jersey. This summer, her only son Daniel was home visiting from college when tragedy struck. He was killed at the front door of their New Jersey home by a man disguised as a delivery man. Her husband Mark was then shot 3 times. The judge was the intended target. Now she's opening up to our Robin Roberts in her very first television interview about how she wants her family to be remembered.
Danny was the love of our life from the moment he was born. We struggled to have a baby. I had 4 miscarriages, 3 before him, 1 after him. From the moment that little boy came to this world, he was the center of our universe.
But their world turned upside down on July 19th. Federal Judge Esther Salas and her husband, Mark Androl, had just spent the weekend celebrating Daniel's 20th birthday with friends at their home in New Jersey, when everything changed in an instant.
July 19th. Walk us through that day.
Well, you know, my son has always wanted to spend critical holidays and birthdays with us. And so he wanted to marry those things, his friends and his parents. It was a great weekend. And at some point we ended up in the basement, and Danny was downstairs talking to me, as he always did. He said, "Keep talking to me, Mom. I love talking to you." And it was at that exact second that the doorbell rang. And before I could tell him, let Dad handle it, he shot up the stairs. And the next thing I hear is, boom. And then I hear, no. And then I hear a series of bullets. And I just, what is happening? So I remember running upstairs, and it was so loud. I almost thought it was like mini bombs or something. And then I saw Danny lying perpendicular to the door, holding his chest. And I saw Mark on his hands and knees at the porch. He had crawled to the porch to try to get the license plate or something of the person. I just got on the floor and I just saw my son. And I know at some point Mark was screaming, "Call 911," and I tried to do that. And I lifted his shirt and I saw the bullet hole. And Mark managed to crawl back, and we were both just watching it fade away.
Daniel taking a fatal bullet from a man posing as a delivery driver. The gunman shooting Judge Salas's husband 3 times before fleeing the scene. Fortunately, Mark survived.
I think the hardest injury right now is to his heart. They were so close. He talks about Danny as his best friend.
The FBI identifying disgruntled lawyer Roy Den Hollander as the alleged shooter. He was found dead 1 day later with a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Do you recall any dealings with this man?
Vaguely, vaguely. It had been months, if not a year, when he last appeared before me. And
had he ever threatened you in any kind of way?
Nothing. There was nothing. You know, my husband and I sat for an FBI debriefing. I know that he hated me because I was a woman. He hated me because I was Latina. And that was the source of hate. That was, you know, what I had done was I had the nerve to become a judge.
Was there ever a time that you had feared for your safety?
You know, you're always conscious of your surroundings, and we were very careful. What I think happened is our defenses were lowered with what was happening around us. I mean, I was ordering packages every day. You know, we play it back. What if I would have stopped him? The what ifs. But after that FBI debriefing, there's peace. If he didn't do it that day, he was going to do it.
When you posted that video, Judge Salas, just weeks after your son was killed, and you were demanding more protection for federal judges.
Let me be clear and tell you firsthand, this is a matter of life and death.
What can be done?
We start with trying to eliminate the personally identifiable information, what they call the PII, getting that off the internet. There's the idea of increased home security systems. And the reason I did it was because I said I have to protect and at least help to protect my brothers and sisters on the bench. And how do we do that? We do that by never letting anyone forget Daniel, never letting anyone forget what he did for us, never letting anyone forget the high price we all pay if indeed the right things aren't done.
Judge Salas now relying on her faith to move forward, finding the strength to forgive her son's killer.
And from the moment I did that, I felt lighter. You know, hate is heavy, love is light.
What can you say to someone who's watching and going, that's wonderful that you're able to find this strength and this faith, but it's not within me?
You need to, whatever your faith is, hold on to that. Whatever you need to do, get the help you need.
And moving forward for you, being on the bench is a lifetime appointment.
Yes.
Are you planning on returning to the bench?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This man took the most important thing in my life. I can't let him take anything else. I know that I'm going to strive every morning to be the best person that I can be. My son gave his life for his father and I. I have to look at that and say, what a gift. I can't squander it.
And our thanks to Robin Roberts for that emotional interview. Here's Mona Kosar-Abdi with your latest science and technology headlines.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple preparing to launch new audio products. The company has removed headphones and wireless speakers from several of its rivals, including Sonos and Bose, from its website and stores. Apple is expected to launch its own headphones and a new smart speaker soon. Christmas is coming early, very early this year for retailers. Best Buy, Macy's, and Target are starting their traditional Black Friday sales this month. And to prepare for the online rush, even jewelry stores are boosting warehouse staff to handle deliveries. Finally, happy 10th birthday, Instagram. The photo-sharing app is marking its first decade with new features meant to encourage kindness. Among them, new warnings that tell users their accounts can be disabled if they break the rules and repeatedly post mean comments. So watch what you post because you don't want to get blocked. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Well, that's a surefire way to make you feel old. Thanks, Mona. And that does it for us here at ABC News Live Update. I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for joining us. And remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. Have a good one.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.